Hey y'all, this is Cindy. I'm the Tireless Tangler and welcome to my channel. Today is the, oh my gosh, 18th day, or night. It's the 18th day of the 100 days of Zentangle 100-day project. And it will be a miracle if I can keep up with the numbers all the way to the end. But we're in the teens, so let's do it. Today's pattern is Tipsy. It's another one that we've had this week by Schneider, CZT, and it is fun and pretty simple to draw. It looks basically like this. You can vary the empty spaces in a variety of ways. And of course, when I saw this, of course, being me, the number one thing I thought was gem opportunity. So as I do this video, I'm going to incorporate a short section with me adding my sort of signature Inktense gems in there. And they're really pretty and I love doing them, so I'm just going to put that in. If you don't want to watch it, you don't have to, of course. It's not the pattern, and it'll just be in there for you if you want to be amused. Okay, so let's get to it. Tipsy starts with a wavy line. Then in the step out, and I'm going to show you an alternate way to do this, but the step out has this next. That one wasn't good. There we go. Like this. And then the next step is to just curve this like this on each side. And if you've managed to keep it fairly symmetrical with your wavy line, then you're going to have a vaguely round shape here. As I said, perfect for making gems. You continue on the other side. And when you're finished, you have something that looks like this. Now, in the step out, you know what? I got this done and didn't wear my glasses again today. Bad Cindy. All right. Here we go. In the step out, she puts these little stripes on each of these sides that follow the curve. Let's see, this one will go this way. Then she blacks them in and leaves a sparkle. I can't decide which way to do this. Zimba is being frisky. He says hi to everyone. Oops, I think I pointed that the wrong way. Well, it doesn't matter. There are no mistakes in Zentangle. And so I'm going to point this one this way just because that's how I feel today. There you go. See? And then this last one, let's go this way. So you can immediately see there are lots of opportunities for fun here. And I'm going to show you real quick the way that I have sort of I sort of think it's a little bit easier for me, but you guys may appreciate this first way better. It's basically the same thing. Again, with the wavy line, this was perfectly me. So instead of doing it this way, because I have trouble matching up the lines and getting a nice circular pattern, although I really did well on this one. So what I did was I started coming up with my inner thing first and then directing it over to the side. So this side. This also gives me an opportunity to gauge where I want this to end, how close these edges are, whether I want them to sort of overlap. It just gives me a little more opportunity, but as you can see, you know, it's not quite as nice as this. So, you know, it's really a matter of preference. But I think it does allow for some opportunities for exploration, drawing it in that manner, just by varying the width and shape of these inner circles, by causing these two to overlap, such as this, which is something she had in one of her variations, which then you could use this as a reticula and put a pattern in here. You can leave it for negative space. You can do all kinds of cool things with this. So right now I'm going to make one of these for myself that is fairly large because I want to work with some watercolor in there, and I'm going to put it right on this page. I think this paper is Canson mixed media watercolor paper, and it is awesome for doing these gems. It's nice to draw on because it's smooth, but it also has a really nice ability to accept water without too much pilling, at least as long as you're gentle with it. Now, I don't know how I did on this, and I honestly can't tell you which one of these methods I want to use here. Okay, I guess we're gonna do that. Okay. At first look, I'm gonna go ahead and finish this. At first look, this isn't the best job, but I'm betting that if I go ahead and finish it and embellish and have some fun with it, it's going to be great. I do need to come up with a solution for this. What I think I'll do is have this encroach on the gem and close this up in this way and have the area of the gem be larger than what this shows and have this be in the middle. We'll see how it works. But the rest of these are closed pretty much in. We're going to try it. All right, this is the section. If you want to skip it, you can. I will see you on the other side if you like. Okay. For the watercolor gems I do, the first step you want to do, you're going to take a white Prismacolor, and you're going to decide where you want your gem highlights to be on these, and you're going to want them all to be approximately the same. Not exactly, but approximately. And I usually put my highlights to the right, and I usually do them all the same because then I get confused less easily. So it's a good way to help you remember. And it helps you really get into a Zen flow easier than if you're worrying about where your lights are and such. So you want to lay down a really good thick layer of Prismacolor. The reason for this is that the wax that's in the pencil that binds the pigment in the pencil is going to act as a resist to the watercolor, so that if our watercolor gets over this area, it's not going to be too bad. It won't affect it too much. We can wipe it away. Okay, I am going to have to pause here in a minute, as it is time for my kiddo to be home from school, and I'm not going to have time to finish this right now, but I'm going to come right back to it tonight. So, my favorite three colors that I use in almost, well, in most of my Inktense gems. I love it because you can push it more to the blue, more to the purple, or more to the green. And so these colors are mauve, teal green, and iris blue, which is really the lightest blue that Inktense offers, at least that I'm aware of right now. So what I do is I start with a blue layer. And I'm going to use an aqua brush. You definitely want a paper towel for this process. We're going to use a lot of water, and you're going to need to clean your brush frequently for this. So let me zoom in a little bit. Right here. Okay. What I have learned over the last 2 years of using Inktense for gems is that the very best way to approach them is to do it with the aqua brush by loading it, getting it a little bit damp on the tip, and then loading it up with color from the tip of your pencil. So two notes of caution before you start. One is that you want to keep your pencil tip laying on top of the paper towel, because if you flick it over like this, you're going to get little dabs of color all over. That's my first tip that I learned. Learn it today. Ideally, you want to lay down a layer of wet first, so that when you go in with your color, it's going to really have a nice light spread on it. You can always add more color, but you can't, well, you can take some color away actually, but so you want to try to avoid the areas where your highlight are, but not completely, and you will get water in there, and if you do, it's not the end of the world. You can lift it right out either with your brush or with a paper towel. Now, once I have that layer down, I usually scoop most of the color out. And so I've got a really faint layer of blue down, and I've got my paper fairly well saturated now. Okay, I'm gonna have to pause. I'm gonna be right back to finish, and I'll see you in a minute. Well, I'm back. For me, for you, I'm still here. It is now nearly 8 o'clock at night where I live, or 2000 hours, or you know what I mean. So let's get back to this. Now, a note real quick. Inktense pencils that we used for this bottom layer are ink-based watercolor pencils. You have to remember though that once they dry, they're permanent ink, so it sets in there. Now what I did earlier is completely dry now, and I can add more water on top, and the bottom layer is going to stay pretty much as is, which isn't a bad thing, but it is something to remember. Okay, and I'm going to use my mauve now and going to load it over the paper towel. And now I've set in a lot of water here, So I'm just going to sort of dab a bit of this color here and there, just something to make it interesting. And I'm just going to sort of push it around, but leave it pretty unorganized here, like so. And now I'm going to take my, this is teal green, which is a pretty light green, as you can see here. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to dab. Some parts are going to overlap. If it gets a little dry, I'm going to squeeze a little water from my brush out on here and sort of drag the green around. So it's mixing but not mixed, if that makes any sense. Probably not. So the colors can blend a little bit, but it's not predominant, but you're not going for the blend itself. If that really doesn't help either, does it? So if you notice now, because of the resist that we put down before we started, we still have a good highlight even though these colors have bled into this area. Now I'm going to go back with my iris blue and I'm going to dab some of this in, and I'm going to get my brush real, what we call juicy. I'm going to put a good bit of water on there so that all of these colors are going to sort of run together and mix. And at this point, I am going to go back and forth. I'm going to use a clean brush to keep this sort of out of the highlight area, even though it will get in that a little bit. And then I'm going to go back in with my mauve. And you can see by using this damp brush, you get a really cool sort of dappled effect. And I think I'll put a little more blue here. So I just keep playing with it. That's what's so great about this Canson paper, is you really have time to mess with the water on there. It's not just a quick, you're done thing. And then if you get too much, you know, clean your brush, get it wet again. But keep in mind, you want to do all of this before your ink dries. And see, and you can tell right here where I put the white pencil down for the resist around the edge. And I still managed to get outside that a little bit, but not too bad. And so when I go in with my regular pencils at the end after this is dry, then I'm going to be covering that up anyway, so it's not a big deal. So that's basically how I do these gems. I'm going to try to finish this tonight so that I can print a picture along with this, so you guys see how it turned out. But embellishment wise, find my black micron. Embellishment wise, I really like the striping effect that that Sue has on her step out. So I'm going to, and usually I would wait for this to dry, but in the pursuit of time here, let's see if we can do this. Oops, I got the wrong pen, I think. Okay. And I'm going to fill this in. One note about these sparkles basically is that a sparkle is what we refer to when we leave a portion of something that's going to be blacked if we leave it white. And so this would be considered a sparkle. And so you can change the way this looks depending on how you do this. You may have seen people do their sparkles with little hatch marks coming into it. I got that one a little too close, but you know what I mean. Or you can do it so there is just a slim sliver, and you get a much different feel from a sparkle done in this fashion. So I just wanted to point that out, that you can do this a number of ways. Well, a couple of ways. So I'm going to continue this one as in the step out. This one I'm going to leave with the hatched look. I really need a less juicy pen for this. But you see, it's a much less exact look, and there's a place for both looks out there. So anyway, that's what we've got. Let's put it in our pattern real quick, and we'll call it a day. So we once again need a bit of space. Well, I really don't want to fill up all of my longer sections. I think I'll just put it here and see what I can get in there. I'm going to use my 005 in black. See where that gets me. I may not like it because it's too thin. So I'm going to put this here. And I think once again, so I have room for the sides, I'm going to start and do it down diagonally. And I think I'm not going to put too much curve in it. So let's start. Okay. Then we're going to do the, let's see. Okay. All right. Here we go. Okay, and then okay, close enough. You don't have to close those. They're not closed in the step out. I'm just entertaining myself, I think. I think for embellishment, I think I'm going to do this fan thing. Okay. This is supposed to go like this. Okay, then I think I'm going to add an inner aura. Just to give it a little interest in there. Not much though. Okay. I also think I'm going to give it a little line weight right here. And I'm also going to put a little perf in there that is all blacked in, except for a tiny little moon shape. And I'm going to try to get that moon shape, try, being the operative word on in the same spot on all of them. All right, now I'm going to do the same on the other side. Okay, now what? Guys, I reserve the right to tangle and embellish around the edges of all of these later. I think I want to you know what? I am just going to put some tiny little simple gems in here. I don't normally, I was going to leave this black and white, but some things just beg for color, I think. And so I'm going to use my Prismacolors, I think, and just pick some favorites here. I'm going to use the light cerulean blue. And do a bottom layer and leave one edge open. These are really hard to get around. Because the space is so small. And we're going to do that in each of these. My pencil should really be sharper. Okay, oh, I like that. Okay, then I'm going to actually go out on a limb and use my Parma Violet on top of that. Let me sharpen. That's going to give these a whole different dimension. And we're just going to use that around the edge for depth. I'm going to want to do that opposite the highlight. Then I'm going to go back with my blue and blend these two. You'll start with your light color, then go darker. And then when you finish, a good way to do that is to put your hands on your white Prismacolor and then start with your highlighted area and move out. And once you do this, this is going to push the color, the pigments into the tooth of the paper. And you're going to get a really pretty glow, shiny look to your gems. Now normally I would use a blending solution or an alcohol marker on these, but this area is so small, I don't want it to get out of control. And I kind of like the way these look, the way they are. Now the only last thing I'm going to do is find a jelly roll. Le Jelly Roll 08. That was for my friends en français. I don't speak French, just a few words. Un peu. Auf Deutsch ist viel besser. Aber Englisch ist, was ich sehr gut kann, normalerweise. All right, so you want to take your jelly roll, and if you have trouble getting it started, sometimes I tap just a little bit, and you're just going to put a tiny bit of highlight down here in this dark section. That might have been a little too much. If you do get it in the wrong place, don't panic. since you're putting it over this wax-based pencil, if you take your sharpened colorless blender, or even a pencil or a very sharp pen, you can just scrape it off. So I usually let it dry and then move from there. So that is what I'm going to leave you with today. I may put a little graphite in the middle here. In fact, and just give that middle section a little bit of depth. Not exactly sure what happened here, but we're going with it. And then with your small tortillon, just blend that out just a little bit. You'll find next to a colored pencil or a light area, it's a really nice effect. There, much nicer. All right, I love gems. They're so much fun. Okay, there's our little spot of color in our 100-day challenge day. Oh my gosh, guys, this is day 18. I feel like I've said that already 3 times. So whatever day it is, I'm going to see you tomorrow. Thank you all so much for being a part of this, and I will see you out there online on Facebook and Instagram. Don't forget to tag me if you can think about it so that I can see your gorgeous work. I'll see you soon. Bye.